everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I'm going to be talking about one of the most underappreciated and misunderstood pop duos of the last 30 years. That's right, I'm talking about Right Said Fred. Now, before you start going, oh my gosh, Right Said Fred, I'm Too Sexy. Yeah, that's probably the song most people know. In fact, I'd say even today, people from the age of 9 years old to 90 years old will know that song. They may not remember it's Right Said Fred, but that song has become part of pop culture history. I once wrote in All Music Guide that judging the band's entire catalog on that one song, I'm Too Sexy, is like judging the Beatles' entire catalog on Yellow Submarine. They're both kind of cute novelty hits that everybody remembers. You can sing along with them, have fun with them, but judging Right Said Fred on I'm Too Sexy is really, really unfair. So I'm going to go through their catalog and I'm going to explain a little bit about them. What I want you to know is I'm a pop kid, so I love a great pop hook. And Right Said Fred, which is made up of Richard Fairbrass and Fred Fairbrass, just great songwriters, and their albums are consistent, and I hope you enjoy this little tour through their catalog. Now, first, before I get into Right Said Fred, both Richard and Fred started out in a band called The Actors back in the late 70s, and they toured with Suicide. They opened for Joy Division. I mean, they've been around that long. They were in a post-punk band. And since then, the two members have gone on to play with people like Mick Jagger, David Bowie, Bob Dylan. So, you know, they have a history before Right Said Fred. But they joined forces with a gentleman by the name of Rob Manzoli, and they put out the song I'm Too Sexy, and it became a worldwide smash. Now, that song is available on the album Up. But let me state here, I'm Too Sexy, like I said, it's a big song. Everybody knows it. But Right Said Fred never wrote another I'm Too Sexy. That's the only song that sounded like that. The rest of their stuff was more melodic, more poppy, more dancey, I guess you could say. But they weren't just a dance band. You know, I don't want them or their fans to be offended, but I just think that Right Said Fred is a great pop band. Great tunes and great albums. So let's go through the catalog here. Up is their first album. It's got I'm Too Sexy. It's also got Don't Talk, Just Kiss, which is very upbeat and melodic, but it's got Deeply Dippy, which has no keyboards in it. It's acoustic guitar, big brass band. It's just an amazing song. And when you hear that, you're going, wow, this band, there's something behind this band. And the album is very, very good. Lots of great songs on it. But again, like I said, nothing like I'm Too Sexy, but still showing a lot of promise. Now, there's also an expanded edition of it that has bonus tracks on the CD. Then it's got a bonus DVD with videos. So you can track either one of those down. Definitely worth your time. That album came out in 1992. In 1993, they followed it with Sex and Travel. Now, this album isn't as consistent as Up, but it still has a lot of great songs on it. You know, they didn't take themselves too seriously at all. They take creating music seriously, but there's some great songs in this album. Hands Up for Lovers. I thought Bumped was kind of a weird song for a single, but otherwise, it's a good follow-up, but was not as successful as the album Up, but still is very much worth your time. Now, I think either the label folded or they had issues with the label, so they went out independently. The next album that came out was called Smashing, and this, I believe, is more consistent than the first two albums as a whole. Lots of great songs on this album. And this is the last album with third member Rob Manzoli. It took another 5 years, but Richard and Fred came back with the Fredhead album. And this was a little bit of a detour. This took in sort of more electronic sound, not disco, not synth pop. It's just a very danceable, upbeat. I would compare them. I mean, sometimes I try to compare them to maybe Pet Shop Boys or something where it's electronic, but it's really the songs, it's the melodies, it's the hooks that matter to them because they do write great pop songs. And again, lots of great songs on that album as well. Even though their stuff can be electronic, there's still Fred's acoustic guitar just banging away in the background, and it adds texture to the music, which is really, really wonderful because that texture, sometimes you don't hear it, but you can feel it. But it's the tunes that really stand out. Speaking of standing, their next album was called Stand Up, and there's a track on here called Stand Up for the Champions, which is now a sports anthem in several European countries. And if it isn't, then it should be, because it is just really an empowering song. They should play it at every sports event. I'm serious. It's really uplifting and it's really fun. But there's a lot more great songs on the album Stand Up. Definitely check it out. This is, again, continuing in the same direction as Fredhead, where it's more electronic, but lots of great hooks. And it's a really, really fun album. Now, it took another 4 years, but they put out For Sale in 2006. And this is probably my favorite Right Said Fred album. This, they sort of dial back a little bit on the electronics. You know, there's still songs that are electronics danceable, but there's a lot more guitar on this album. And the songs like Obvious and Cry, and their cover of Where Do You Go to My Lovely, and lots of great, great tunes on this. It's jam-packed. It's a really fun time. It's very, very eclectic. You know, like I said, they will have electronics in there, and then they'll slow it down to, you know, almost ballads, and it's really, really, really nice album. Definitely check out For Sale by Right Said Fred. Came out in 2006. 2 years later, they put out the album called I'm a Celebrity. This has my favorite Right Said Fred song on it, a song called Melanie, and that is just pure pop heaven. If a power pop band had recorded that song, everyone would be praising it. Such an amazing song. And this album has a lot of great tunes on it as well. Definitely something to check out. Right Said Fred, I'm a Celebrity. It came out in 2008. The next album came out in 2011, and it is called Stop the World. And I believe this was only available as a promo. And then there was like a live DVD and CD. This came with that. It kind of dials back again a little bit. It's not an overproduced album, and it concentrates on the songs. It's probably the most difficult one to find out of all these, but it's definitely worth your time to track it down if you are a fan. Now, it took another 6 years, but then Right Said Fred put out the album called Exactly, and another great collection of songs. This is all independently produced. It's more rock pop, with some keyboards in there. Great songs. Like I said, they don't take themselves too seriously, so they have fun with the music. But, you know, you can't just say that they're electronic or pop or rock, because every album, you know, they showcase a variety of styles, a variety of genres, and sometimes they blend them together, and it just sounds absolutely amazing. So Exactly, another great Right Said Fred album. And that's it with their studio albums. They don't have a large catalog, but trust me, they're worth your while. If you want to pick up some kind of compilation, I would definitely recommend one called Hits. And this has tracks from throughout their career. Lots of great songs on that. I mean, this is a perfect introduction. And, you know, in fact, if you're going to start your Right Said Fred collection, I'd say either start with this or the album For Sale. Those are my absolute two favorites. I'm Too Sexy is still being sampled, still being played, but that's not what the band is all about. You really have to dig deep if you want to hear some great pop songs. Oh my gosh, guess what? I created a medley here that I'm going to play, so you're going to be able to hear some Right Said Fred, you know, and you're going to realize that they are definitely more than I'm Too Sexy. Lots of great pop tunes. That's what it's all about. Songs that will, you know, lift your spirits or make you feel some emotion. Right Said Fred have many songs that fit that bill. So let's listen to that medley right now, and I'll see you on the other side.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me. So don't talk, just kiss. We're beyond words and sound.
Arrested for the way I'm moving. Lipstick on, she puts her lipstick on. Flick of the wrist, slowly blinking.
I'm living on a dream, or so it seems. Sometimes living on a dream, no milk, just cream. Sometimes, oh Ruby, don't take your love to town. Gimme more jive. Gimme more jive. Gimme the more.
The sun changes everything. You feel good, you're warm again. The sun changes everything. Only life, only life, only life. Stand up for the champions, for the champions.
that surround you. I could cry all I want, but you're not coming back to me. I could cry all I want, but you're not coming back to me. Sweet, sweet, wonderful you. Sweet, sweet, lovable you. So space what you need, drifting slowly out to sea. She's what you need, what you love, all I see. It's my life, I dream about it day and night. It's my life, it'll be summer all year long. It'll be all my favorite songs. It'll be obvious you're the one. Rain down on me. It's raining again. Rain down on me. It's raining again. Right on the kisser, right on the mouth, right on the kisser. That's what I'll give her, north and south. Right on, yeah, she takes me on a silicon journey. If you can find me, that's where I'll be. Oh yeah, she takes me every day. I think I'm gonna snap. Every day I think I'm gonna snap. Every day I think I'm gonna snap. We are the friends. We are the friends. We are. Would you take us home to meet your mom and pa? We are the friends. We are. And I'm too sexy for this song.
Anyway, that's it. I really appreciate your time. I hope this maybe changes your mind about Right Said Fred and makes you want to maybe check them out a little bit or listen to them, do some investigating, buy some albums, CDs, whatever you want to do. I really appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, to ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.